she said. My ex is picking me up for the weekend, and I need you to stay here. If you show your face, you'll make me look stuck. I nodded once, opened my laptop, and started canceling our future while she was still choosing shoes. Hey friends, please subscribe and turn on notifications, like this video, and leave a comment with your impressions. This will be a great help. Thank you. We never tire of reminding you. It's all thanks to you. I'm 43, and this happened in Spokane, Washington, in late March when the mornings are still cold, but people start pretending winter is finished. I work as a municipal permit technician. It's not glamorous. It's plans, forms, fees, inspections, and making sure everything is lawful and documented. I spend my days telling people, politely, that you don't get to skip steps just because you want a faster outcome. My girlfriend at the time was Renee. She was 34 and worked as a regional merchandising manager for a home goods company. Renee traveled a lot. She knew how to walk into a store, talk to a manager, reorganize a display, and leave like she owned the place. She also cared about status in a way that was subtle until it wasn't. She paid attention to who got invited where, who sat with whom, and what kind of life her friends thought she had. We'd been together a little over 3 years. We rented a small house on the north side with a fenced yard and a detached garage. The house wasn't fancy, but it was quiet, and we had made it comfortable. We had real plans. We were supposed to move into a nicer place in the summer, closer to downtown. We had already paid a holding deposit for a new rental that accepted us contingent on a final signed lease. I had also put down a deposit on a ring at a local jeweler because Renee had shown me a setting she loved and said she wanted it soon. We had a venue deposit too, not for a wedding, but for a small family gathering in June where I planned to propose afterward in private. Renee called it our next step dinner. For a long time, it felt like we were building in the same direction. Then the mismatch started showing up in small, quiet ways that didn't match the story. Renee began taking more calls in the driveway. She would step outside even when it was cold, turning her back to the window. She stopped leaving her phone on the counter. It stayed face down on her lap at dinner. When a message came in, her eyes would drop to the screen quickly and then pop back up, like she was trying to prove she wasn't hiding anything while still hiding something. She also started dressing up for strange reasons. A routine store visit became a full outfit with boots and a new jacket. She started wearing perfume on days she was just doing paperwork. She seemed restless, like she was waiting for something better to happen. One Wednesday, I opened our shared tablet to check a form for our new rental. The tablet was logged into our household email because that's where confirmations and documents went. We used it for bills, leases, and anything that needed a screen bigger than a phone. A banner notification popped up across the top. Your reservation is confirmed. Silverbrook Inn, 2 nights. The dates were that coming weekend. We had no trips planned. I didn't click around looking for drama. The notification was already there, and I needed the apartment paperwork. I tapped it. The email opened to a reservation confirmation. 2 nights. A king room. Late checkout requested. The name on the reservation was Renee's. The confirmation was from a booking site, and the payment method line showed the last 4 digits of my card. My card. That's the part that made my stomach tighten. Not because I couldn't afford it. Because it meant she used our shared system and assumed I wouldn't notice. I closed the email, then finished what I was doing, because reacting in the moment would have given her a chance to turn it into an argument about my tone instead of her choices. When she got home, I kept my voice normal. Hey, I said, are you going anywhere this weekend? She paused like she had to pull up the right script. Why? I saw a reservation confirmation come through the household email, I said. Silverbrook Inn. Renee laughed, fast and light. Oh, that. It's nothing. It's 2 nights, I said, and it was paid with my card. Her smile flickered. I was going to tell you. Tell me what? I asked. She set her bag down with a little extra force. It's a work thing. Work at an inn, I said quietly. She sighed like I was being unreasonable. Sometimes vendors host retreats. It's networking. Networking. That word again. It's always networking when people don't want accountability. I didn't accuse her of cheating. I didn't call her names. I simply watched the next 2 days closely. She started acting like someone preparing for a date, not a work retreat. She got her nails done Thursday. She bought a new outfit Friday and hung it separately in the closet like it mattered. She spent more time in front of the mirror and less time looking at me. Friday night, she finally said the truth in the way she thought would control the conversation. She was in the bedroom, laying out clothes on the bed, suitcase open. I stood in the doorway and said, "So who is going to Silverbrook with you?" Renee didn't look up. "It's not a group thing." "That's what it looks like," I replied. She zipped the side pocket hard. "You're going to make this into a whole thing." "I'm asking because your story keeps changing," I said. "Who is it?" She exhaled, irritated, and said, "Graham." I knew that name. Graham was her ex. She had mentioned him early in our relationship as someone from my past. She had said they were friendly now. She had also said he was successful in a way that sounded like admiration. "What does Graham have to do with your work?" I asked. Renee finally looked at me. "He knows people. He's connected. He offered to take me up there for the weekend." "It's good for me." "For you?" I repeated. "Yes," she said, sharp. "For me." I kept my voice calm. "And where does that leave us?" That's when she said the line that made everything go quiet inside me. She stared at me like I was an obstacle and said, "My ex is picking me up for the weekend, and I need you to stay here. If you show your face, you'll make me look stuck." Look stuck. Like being with me was a problem she needed to hide. I didn't yell. I didn't ask for her phone. I didn't try to win an argument. I just said, "You want me invisible so you can look available." She rolled her eyes. "Stop twisting it. You're being dramatic." I nodded once, not in agreement, but because I understood the situation clearly. I said, "Have a safe weekend." Renee blinked. "That's it. That's it," I replied. Her shoulders relaxed as if she had successfully managed me. "Good." She went back to packing, humming slightly, like nothing had happened. I walked to the kitchen table, opened my laptop, and started doing what I do when something is risky: remove my name from the exposure. First, the ring deposit. I searched my email for the jeweler. I found a receipt. Subject: Deposit Receipt, Custom Ring Setting, Order SBK 7316. The policy stated the deposit was refundable within 10 business days if the custom work had not begun. Custom work began upon final design approval. We had not approved anything because Renee had rescheduled the design appointment twice. We were on day 9. I called it opening Saturday morning. "Cedar and Stone Jewelers, this is Lena." "Hi," I said. "I need to cancel an order and request a refund. Order SBK 7316. Lena confirmed my name and asked if production had started. I answered truthfully, "No." "All right," she said. "We can cancel and initiate the refund today. It typically returns to the original card in 5 to 7 business days. I'll email confirmation." Within minutes, it arrived. Subject: Cancellation confirmed. Refund initiated. SBK 7316. Receipt number 1. Second, the June family gathering venue deposit. We had reserved a small private room at a local event space, not a wedding venue, just a place to host both families. The contract had a cancellation clause: full refund if canceled more than 30 days out, minus an administrative fee. We were still within the window. I emailed them. Subject: Cancellation request, June private room reservation. I included the reservation number and requested written confirmation of cancellation and refund timeline. They replied the same day. Subject: Reservation canceled. Refund processing, 7 to 10 business days. Receipt number 2. Third, the new rental holding deposit. We had paid a holding deposit for a nicer rental downtown. The property manager had sent the lease for signatures with a deadline. If we didn't sign, the holding deposit would be refunded minus a small processing charge. I opened the email thread and confirmed it was in my name, my signature, and my liability. I emailed them. Subject: Withdrawal, Lease Application and Holding Deposit, Unit 5. I stated we would not be proceeding and requested confirmation of the refund amount and timeline. They replied within an hour. Subject: Application withdrawn, refund scheduled, processing fee applied. Receipt number 3. Fourth, the credit union joint pre-approval. We had started a joint loan pre-approval as a next step planned for later. The loan officer had asked for one final document and signature authorization for an updated credit pull. I was not going to keep my financial life tied to someone who called me stuck. I emailed the loan officer. Subject: Pause joint pre-approval immediately. Please pause the joint application and confirm no further action or credit activity without my written authorization. They replied, paused. No further action. Receipt number 4. Then I handled our shared finances the right way. We had a joint savings account for move and future. I did not drain it. I paused my automatic transfer and took screenshots of the balance and recent transactions for my records. I emailed Renee from my personal email. Subject, shared savings. I paused my automatic contributions today. We can reconcile and split the balance fairly after refunds and shared bills are finalized. Short, calm, documented. Now the exit. Our current lease had 4 months left. Both names. I read the lease clause about tenant release. It required landlord approval and the remaining tenant qualifying a loan or adding a replacement. Until then, both tenants remained responsible. I emailed the property management company. Subject, tenant change request, release process. I requested the paperwork and confirmed I would not sign any renewal under my name. They replied with a release form and the usual note. Approval required. Both tenants remain liable until processed. Receipt number 5. By Saturday afternoon, I was ready. I packed only what was clearly mine. My clothes, my work equipment, my personal documents, tools and gear I had purchased, items with obvious ownership. I left shared furniture. I left dishes and decor. I wasn't going to fight over a couch. Before I left, I took photos of the house condition, every room, floors, appliances, because deposit disputes happen, and I prefer truth over arguments. I booked a month-to-month furnished studio across town through a housing service used by traveling professionals. Deposit paid. Lease in my name. Renee left Sunday morning with her suitcase. She was smiling like the weekend was a reward. At the door, she said, "Don't make this messy while I'm gone." "I won't," I replied. The moment she left, I moved out. On the kitchen counter, I left a note. "Renee, I moved out today. I will pay my share of rent through the end of the current lease term unless management approves a release. I will not renew. Please use email for logistics. No insults. No long speech. Just facts." She came back Monday night. My phone lit up with calls. I let them ring out. Then texts. "What is this note? Where are you? You're acting crazy." Then an email. Subject, "You can't do this." I replied once. Subject, "You can't do this." I moved out. I'm not continuing the relationship. Lease and financial logistics can be handled by email. That was the first confrontation. The next one came in person 2 days later when she showed up outside my workplace. She stood near my car, eyes bright with anger. "You left over a weekend," she snapped. Minimization. "It wasn't the weekend," I said. "It was what you said." Renee scoffed. "You're insecure. You always want reassurance. You're punishing me." Blame. I stayed calm. "You called me stuck and told me to hide." Then the insults. "You're boring," she said. "You act like you're above everyone because you're calm. You're not." I didn't react. "Email only for logistics," I said. Her face changed, and tears came fast. "I didn't think you'd actually leave," she whispered. "I thought you'd cool off and stop being stubborn." "I believed what you said," I replied. "And I chose peace." She stared at me, waiting for an argument. I didn't give her one. "I'm going inside," I said. "Please don't come here again." After that, she tried at least 3 contact attempts. First, an unknown number called late at night. The voicemail was her voice, soft. "Please answer." "I'm scared." I blocked it. Second, email. Subject, "I didn't mean it." She wrote a long message trying to rewrite "looks stuck" as bad wording, claiming Graham was just helping and that I was overreacting. I didn't debate. I set an email filter sending her messages into a folder called Renee Records. Third, she used an intermediary. Her cousin messaged me saying Renee was not doing well and asking if I could just talk to her once. I replied politely, "Please don't get involved," and ended the conversation. The consequences arrived without my help. The ring deposit refund hit my bank account 5 business days later, exactly as the confirmation said. The venue deposit refunded next, minus the administrative fee. The downtown rental holding deposit refund processed with the stated fee. I kept every email and bank notification. Renee, meanwhile, faced reality fast. She tried to keep the house alone. The property manager required income verification, and her job had variable travel bonuses. Without my income, they required a higher deposit. She asked me, in writing, to stay on the lease for a little while so she could stabilize. I refused in writing. I told her I would pay my share through the lease term, but I would not extend my obligations. Then the social part of it came around. The same thing she chased. She posted a photo from the in weekend. People commented asking if she was back with Graham. Someone asked where I was. The post disappeared the next day. A mutual acquaintance later mentioned Graham didn't treat Renee like a partner. He treated her like a convenient guest, and by the end of the weekend, he was paying attention to someone else. She came back with bruised pride and a housing problem. By early summer, she had moved into a smaller apartment with a roommate because she couldn't keep the house alone without stress. That wasn't revenge. It was math. As for me, I stayed quiet and built my life back cleanly. I paid my portion until the lease ended. I transferred utilities out of my name when management confirmed the move out. I kept my routines: work, sleep, simple meals, walking in the evenings. A few months later, in August, I was doing fine. One Saturday morning, I stopped at a community college parking lot for a basic home improvement workshop. I've always liked practical skills. The room was plain: folding chairs, a whiteboard, a table of tools. After the session, I was putting my papers away when I heard my name. Colin. I turned and saw Renee. She looked different, less polished, more tired, like she had learned something she didn't want to learn. She walked toward me slowly. I didn't know you came to these. I do sometimes, I said. Can we talk? She asked. Just for a minute. I can listen briefly, I replied, but I'm not restarting anything. Her eyes filled. I'm sorry, she said. I was chasing attention. I wanted to look like I had options, and I made you feel small to do it. I nodded once. You did. She swallowed. I didn't think you'd leave. I believed what you said, I replied. And I chose peace. She looked down, then up. Is there any chance? I shook my head once. No, I'm not angry. I'm finished. Renee nodded slowly, like she finally accepted the consequence she thought wouldn't happen. I hope you're okay, she whispered. I am, I said. Please take care of yourself. Then I walked to my car and drove home to a life that didn't require me to shrink. What would you have done if someone told you to hide so they could look available? Tell me in the comments.